I can remember really thinking that it was going to rob me of fun, that God was like this detached father with a bunch of rules.
Deep enough to dream in brilliant colors I have never seen. Deep enough to join a billion people for a wedding feast.
Hi, my name is Thurlby, and my journey finding God took a couple of decades, actually. I can remember growing up in the Bible Belt at 16, 17 years old and feeling drawn to following God, but really thinking that it was going to rob me of fun, that God was like this detached father with a bunch of rules, and didn't understand my needs as a young man. And so I really shelved him and put my faith kind of as something that I would be in charge of. Then when I went to college, my parents' marriage started to unravel, and Kristen and I were actually starting to get really serious about getting married, and that's when, for the first time in my life, I really wanted God to be in charge of something that was very significant to me. And Kristen and I put God at the center of our marriage early on, but I still hadn't made a decision about the Bible. And it wasn't until we had moved to California in our mid-20s and we started attending a Calvary Chapel church, which was teaching the Word of God verse by verse. And I thought, if I'm going to sit and listen to a few verses of an Old Testament prophet over an hour, I need to decide whether I believe this book to be true. Not whether it's helpful, but whether it's authoritative. Not whether it's inspired, but whether it's infallible. And through thinkers like C.S. Lewis and Ravi Zacharias and Josh McDowell and others, for the first time in my life, I realized that God wasn't a detached father, but that he was a loving dad, and that his rules weren't to rob me of fun, but they were to give me life and give it in abundance, and that I didn't need to see how far away from him I could get and still call myself a Christian, but I wanted to try to see how close I could live with him. And that changed everything. That was almost 20 years ago. And the adventure that we've been on since has been richer and better than anything I could have hoped for or anything that I would have chosen for myself.
Deep enough to dream in brilliant colors I have never seen. Deep enough to join a billion people for a wedding feast. Deep enough to reach out and touch the face of the one who made